Greetings, everybody. Tekking and Barry here, back again with day 3 of Horoween. Oh ho 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 ho! Oh ho 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 ho! Turning into Santa Claus there at the end. Oh ho ho ho! Okay. Well, anyway, today's special cameo appearance was supposed to be because we had sexy Jason Voorhees yesterday. Today it was supposed to be sexy Freddy Krueger, as you could see here. However, we have acquired something even better and sexier in the mail this morning. We have the Mr. Morge plush. I actually forgot I ordered this, but I got it in the mail today. So here we go. I'm just gonna prop him up next to Plant there, and there we go. We have Barry, not the plushy variant of Barry, but the plushy Barry is actually right over there on top of the One Piece, box. Can you see him? There you go. So, yeah, Mr. Morge plushie next to Barry. There we go. Special cameo appearance today by Mr. Morge. That's going to be, like, the singularity. Every YouTuber on the platform is going to make a plushie of themselves, and if somebody could somehow gather all of those plushies together, all the millions of YouTube plushies that exist, if somebody can gather them all together in a single room, they will receive, like, a single wish. It'll be like the Super Dragon Balls have been assembled or something. So if anybody's up to the task, good luck. Anyway, what was I doing today? Oh yeah. So today's episode of Horoween is based off of this comment that I received from Ethan Franco. Hey Tekking, if you need ideas for videos, here are 2 of them. Number 1, how about you do a movie review for movie 6? You know, the one with the evil flowers and everyone almost dying. Huh? Yeah, the movie 6. That's what you want me to talk about? You want me to make a video about movie 6, huh? Movie 6, Secret Island, with the Baron and everything, with the flowers and all that kind of crazy stuff happens. You know, there was that guy with a leaf on his head. That's what you want me to talk about? Movie 6? Okay, so we're talking about devil fruits that are messing up your life. That's a good video topic. I am going to do movie 6. A lot of people want me to do movie 6 on Halloween. So first off, Halloween is actually a Sunday, which is going to be the day of the chapter review. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't have to review chapter 1030 on Sunday. I guess I could push that back. No spoilers, but yeah, I'm going to be talking about the chapter review on Sunday, and I actually have something else planned for Sunday. I am going to do movie 6 at some point, but I just don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe part of my new studio is I actually start to schedule my content. But the other idea, the idea of talking about how some devil fruits can actually make your life a living hell, or like the detriments that you don't really, realize when it comes to a manga. I mean, like, look at it this way, okay? Monkey D. Luffy has the Gumu Gumu no Mi, his body's made of rubber, and, all that. How did that happen? Well, he ate a bite of gum gum, right? That's how that happened. Okay. But now it's really cool, because Luffy can, he can go into gear 2nd, and gear 3rd, and gear 4th, and he's really stretchy, and it's really funny in the story. But I want you to think about that for a moment. Having your entire body made out of rubber. I mean, like, it sounds cool, and I guess you would be immune from electrical attacks, so you wouldn't have to worry about, like, you could be like, well, I can rewire my entire house with absolutely no experience, because, like, you're immune to electricity, right? Just, like, trial and error, I'll get there sometime, at some point. But you just think of all the little things that in your life that would be, like, weird to actually, like, have your body physically made out of rubber. I actually can't really think of anything right now. Okay, well, maybe you could be, like, walking down the street, and a dog could, like, bite you and then just like drag you away, and then like part of your arm gets stretched across the street, and then a car just drives through your arm, and it's like a bungee cord and just bounces back. That's a very likely series of events that'll probably happen. But you can think of like your just day-to-day life. Having a rubber body would be weird, okay? So, I made a list of ones that are actually, I went down the whole list of paramecias. I didn't really put any Logias or zones on this list, and the reason was because Logias, I mean, I think as soon as you eat the fruit, like when Ace first consumed the Maramara no Mi in his light novel, his arm like lit on fire and he couldn't really control it at first. But it didn't take Ace very long for him to learn how to control his Logia. So I guess I could put all Logias on this list after you first consume them and you don't have any like control over it. I mean, any devil fruit could really be a detriment in that regard, right? Because your body would just be like lighting on fire spontaneously. You'll be like sending out a tweet and then all of a sudden your keyboard is just melted. It's like, dang it, that's the 7th Bluetooth keyboard this week. You know, your body spontaneously combusting or spontaneously firing off electricity or turning into mud or ice or snow or magma. The magma thing, you know, that must have been awkward for Aka Inu when he first consumed the magma fruit. Just, you know, just walking around and just like he turns around and the entire floor is just melted and on fire and falling apart. And he's just like, you know, Aka Inu, you know, we just put in those hardwood floors. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm learning. I was like, he was very self-conscious, okay? So after you get a handle on the Logias, though, you get to control whether or not you become the element, okay? And with the zones, it's the same thing. It might be rather awkward if you don't have proper control over it and you're just hanging out in class one day and you turn into a giraffe. You know, Kaku didn't have it at that point. He didn't even really go to school because he was trained as a CP9 agent, but that would have been very awkward if he was just sitting in math class and he's like, all right, Kaku, what's, you know, the square root of 144? And he's like, I don't know. And he just turns into a giraffe in the middle of the class and everyone just laughs at him. Just like, ha, Kaku turned into a giraffe, you know? But once again, if you get control over zones, you can control the hybrid or the full form you go into. However, when it comes to paramecias, and that's all that are on this list, there's some effects that permanently alter your body, like Luffy's Gamu Gamu no Mi. They have certain effects that you can't turn off, okay? So you always have them with you. And so with that being the case, I divided them into 4 different categories. The first category are abilities that make it difficult for you to interact with your surroundings. Ethan gave the perfect example there with Alvida's fruit, the slip fruit, okay? So it allows her body to become super slippery smooth. So smooth, in fact, all of the fat that she had on her body immediately just slid off of her, which is how she, you know, achieved her current appearance, which is, you know, like the typical anime trope of like a woman becoming super, super hot with magic power. But also, like, I want you to imagine the process, like the actual physical process of how that happened. Like, Alvida eats the fruit and just, oh, that tasted like crap. Oh, it's just like it was probably very gooey and disgusting. I'm not even gonna question where all the fat fell out of. You know, like, I'm not even gonna question how that happened, but that was probably terrifying in its own right. But beyond that, just as Ethan said, you know, living with no friction, it's very dangerous. I mean, like, just imagine being super, super slippery at all times. I went into Walmart the other day, and I have these shoes. I really need to get new shoes because the bottom of my shoes has like no treads on them or anything. I don't know how to describe it. So it's just like a flat bottom shoes. So it's like I'm walking outside in the rain and I walk into Walmart and it's just like cement and I'm just like sliding all over the lobby. Like, I could have fallen down. So just imagine that your entire life. And not only that, but just every time you're trying to, you know, you're trying to pick up something, like you just want a bottle of water, you just want to drink, it's just slipping all over the place like everything's made out of soap. It's just like, that would be extraordinarily inconvenient, essentially. I guess Alvida doesn't have to worry about that too much because she's part of Buggy's crew and, you know, he just, you know, recently finished being a warlord, so she probably had most people just bring her stuff, you know, just like, just give me a drink, you know, and someone would like put the straw in her mouth so she wouldn't have to touch anything, but like, it'd be very, very awkward. She wouldn't even probably even be able to sit down in a chair. She'd be constant like slipping and sliding off everything. Like, that would be very, very inconvenient, okay? But that's just one example of that. The next one for interactions, we have Shu. Shu, who was a marine captain with the ability of the rust fruit, all right? Now, this was never explained in the story, but I just went along with it because it does make sense, because the ability of the rust fruit is any type of metal that Shu touches immediately oxidizes into rust, and I did a whole video about that. I actually did a video, I've done a video on a lot of these actually, Alvida's fruit, Shu's fruit, made videos on all that. So let's just assume though, Shu doesn't get to control that. Any type of metal that he touches instantly oxidizes. So you would have to be extraordinarily careful. Any doorknob you touch would immediately just disintegrate, which I guess that wouldn't be a problem, because if you just touch the doorknob and it disintegrates, I guess you could just kind of push the door open at that point, so you would still get into the room. But, you know, there's a lot of metal objects in the world, right? And certain metal corrodes easier than other metals, so maybe, like, I don't know, platinum would rust. Can platinum rust? I don't know. I feel like that was something in Dr. Stone at one point, but I don't remember. That's where I get all my science. If it wasn't featured in Dr. Stone, I really have no idea. But I think platinum is really hard to rust or whatever, so, or it lasts a long time, right? Or maybe, okay, this is a throwback. Remember that episode of Yu Yu-Gi-Oh! Where Esperoba summons Jinzo, and then Joey uses the Time Wizard to age Jinzo like 1,000 years, and then Esperoba's like, aha, but Jinzo is made out of a diatype alloy titanium metal that won't corrode for 10,000 years. So whatever the hell Jinzo's made out of, okay, sure, fine. That's hard science right there. That's anime science. Dr. Stone and Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But, you know, I don't think I have to go on and belabor the point, but, you know, there's types of, like, pens and stuff that are made out of metal that would just like, all right, Mr. Shu, you're applying for a loan application to start your own bakery. Just fill out this form and you're ready to go. Okay. Sorry, just give me another pen. Do you not have any wooden pencils? Has to be in pen. You know, there's metal everywhere. So yeah, your car, you couldn't drive a car. It'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna get into a car now. The whole door and the entire car just falls apart. It's just like, oh man. So like that would be really shitty having that ability in our world. After Shu, we have Vanderdecken, or Vanderdecken the Ninth. And I don't think I've made a video about Vanderdecken. I might have. I'm not sure. But Vanderdecken's ability is the target fruit, which is a very weird devil fruit. It's a very niche kind of power, and the way it works is he touches something with his hand. Say this notepad touches this, and then that hand is always locked on to that object or person or whoever you touch. So if I touch that notepad and then I pick up this pencil and then I throw the pencil at the notepad, it will always lock on to the notepad. Even though I touched the notepad and activated the ability, but then I touched the pencil, which should have overridden the ability and locked onto the pencil now. But if I pick something else up to throw at the pencil, then the scissors have locked on. It's a little weird kind of ability. But basically, Vanderdecken had to walk around with a glove on because, well, that was because he was pretty creepy. He touched Shirahoshi and he didn't want the, you know, target to be overridden. But still, it'd be very awkward to have that power to just be, like, touching objects. And, like, if you ever, like let's say you, I don't know, touch your friend's car. And then you go away and, I don't know, play baseball or something. And it's like, all right, here we go. Shit! And it just slams into his car. I'm sorry, dude! You know, like if you forget, if you touch something and you throw it at something, it's always gonna hit that one thing. Like you'd be constantly thinking, like you'd have to either wear gloves all the time, or you just have to constantly remember every single object you locked onto with the fruit. Because, you know, most people don't typically throw objects a lot. I mean, if you're a YouTuber like me, that comes up quite often. But other than that, unless you're like a Major League Baseball player, or a basketball player, or a football player, or any other kind of ball sport that includes your hands, you know, probably doesn't come up very often, but you gotta be careful. It's just more work you have to do every single day. Right, so that was Vanderdecken. Now moving on to the next category, devil fruits that create some sort of substance on your body that you can't turn off, that's always just exuding from you. I don't think I need to go into further detail on why that would be an encumbrance or just straight up disgusting. So let's start with Opera, the fifth son of the Charlotte family, Charlotte Opera. He has some sort of like whipped cream kind of devil fruit, and a side effect of that is his body is always just constantly dripping. Like you can't even really see his real flesh. It's just all cream 24/7, just exuding whipped cream from your body. I don't care how much you liked whipped cream. Honestly, I'm not really that big of a fan of it. I could take it or leave it, have it on some pumpkin pie. It's delicious, sure, but I'm not sitting around just constantly like eating whipped cream or whatever. I could take it or leave it. But even if you're the biggest whipped cream fan in the entire world, just imagine your whole body being not only covered in whipped cream, but also constantly emitting and creating whipped cream. You are a whipped cream fountain. And that sounded very sexual for some reason, even though we're just talking about food here, okay? It's a viscous white substance that's constantly dripping from your body. Every crevice, everywhere, all right? Your ears, your skin, your pores, just dripping with whipped cream, all right? And so everywhere you go, just whipped cream. You can't just, I'm just gonna sit on the couch and just, oh, that couch is ruined. Very, very disgusting. And that's just your life from now on. What could be worse than that? Well, I would say Treble's ability, the Beta Beta no Mi, where it's not whipped cream, it's actually mucus. It's just like, oh god, mucus. Oh, so instead of whipped cream, which is actually sweet, you can actually like eat. I mean, like at that any rate there, I mean, it'd be like it would be still a living hell, but at least it's like, all right, at least I have all the whipped cream I can eat. Now your body is just covered in just mucus goo, and yeah, it can protect you from things, but it's also flammable. So watch out if you have a gas stove. I actually have a gas stove here. I'm moving from electric at my old place, and so if I was like the beta, no, me covered in goo, would be like, all right, I'm just gonna fry up some steak. You know, like it would just immediately combust, and your body's covered in snot 24/7. Not fun. But that's not even the worst of this kind of category, right? Operas is a confectionery, and trebles is mucus that's flammable, which is very dangerous. But the worst of this is actually, I think, Magellan. Now, Magellan ate the venom fruit, or the doku no mi, right? He was a poison man. Now, his body wasn't always emitting poison. Like, he could do that if he wanted to. He can make his body emit poison. But even without that, he still was stated to have poison diarrhea and poison breath and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it doesn't seem like he really wanted to a lot of times. It just seemed like those were his natural bodily functions. And unfortunately, we find out a lot about Magellan's bodily functions during the Impel Down arc. Like, that's not even a joke. That's literally a central part of the arc. But anyway, yeah. So it's stated that, like, he eats a lot of poisoned, like, food, and that's why he has diarrhea, but it's implied that it doesn't matter what he eats, because when he does go number 2, like, it's gonna be poison shit, like, quite literally. So when Magellan lets out a fart, it could literally kill everybody else in that room, okay? If he burps, it's like chlorine gas that comes out of him, right? And it's implied, like, he really can't control that, all right? That's why everybody, when they're hanging out in Magellan's office, have to put on the gas masks and stuff. Even his Den Mushi has a gas mask. So even like breathing into the Den Mushi, like, so the act of breathing is poisonous. Maybe not poisonous enough to kill someone, but poisonous enough to like irritate your eyes and be like, it's like, oh god, this is hell. I mean, it's great because he's the warden of Impel Down, and it's a very impressive ability. It took out Luffy, for God's sake. But just imagine, like, everywhere you go, a fart that can just literally clear out a room, and just anything. Like, he's like, you're probably sweating poison. It's just, you know, it would be very, very annoying. There's another devil fruit I put on here. It's not really creating a substance or anything, but I put this on. Actually, I should have put this in the next category. Let's do that to the next category. Okay. Next category are devil fruits just affect your body in other ways. I don't know why I put this one on there, but I put Parosparrow. Parosparrow, I put him on there because his tongue apparently grows really large whenever you eat the candy fruit, the lick fruit, because it is the lick fruit. You have to have a giant tongue, I guess. And so, I mean, like, once again, I don't have to go into greater detail there. It's like your tongue becomes like 5 feet long and like sticking out of your mouth, and just like, you know, I would imagine it would get dried out quite a bit, or even if it doesn't, that would still be like even if the effect of the lick fruit is your tongue is just always constantly moist. I apologize for a lot of these descriptions, but this is Horoween. This is what we're here to discuss, right? So just imagine your tongue is 5 feet long, sticking out of your mouth, constantly just dripping with drool. I mean, talking would be difficult enough, but you would eventually, I guess, get the hang of it. I guess Parosparrow did eventually, but you're still stuck with that living hell, all right? So that'd be pretty bad. Ethan brought up Wapple and Brook. Wapple just having this endless hunger with the, what was it called? The Baku no Mi, the munch fruit. So he's just constantly in a state of hunger no matter what he eats. He's freaking hungry. So that would really suck. Kind of like similar to Bonnie in a sense. Bonnie seems to be just endlessly hungry with her power as well, so you can maybe include that one on there. And Brook's ability is just, you know, there's a lot of negative aspects to the Yomi no Mi. I mean, it's a cool power because it brings you back to life, but as Ethan pointed out, like, the idea that, like, okay, all of Brook's friends, the Rumbar pirates, they're all dead. He'll never get to see them again, but he gets to live on. And just knowing that, like, not even talking about Brook outliving the Straw Hats or whatever, just like, you are guaranteed to outlive your friends, like, eventually, because you're guaranteed 2 different lives here. And so, you know, obviously Brook's friends are all gone, but also just the idea that, you know, if you mess this up and you can't get back to your body right away, like if your body is somewhere that's like obscured by mist, or let's say you die in the mountains somewhere and your body just collapses in the snow, you can't find it or whatever, I guess in that case it would actually preserve it. But my point is, like, if you can't get back to your body right away with the Yomi no Mi, you're stuck as a skeleton or a half-rotted zombie, and that's just what you're stuck as. Now, you could still eat and drink and poop and everything, as Brook stated, but you're stuck as a skeleton the rest of your life. Or like, let's say you make it so it's like your body's half decayed. So it's like, your eye sockets are all gone and everything, and your body's being chewed apart by like crows and bugs constantly, but you do get to technically live after that. So yeah, that wouldn't be very fun. Also, sugar. Sugar, of course, had the Hobby Hobby no Mi, the devil fruit that grants you like a million different abilities, one of which being eternal youth, but it's whenever you eat the fruit. And it's also weird because I guess the reference is it's the Hobby Hobby no Mi because it's like playing with toys, and the idea is it gives you eternal youth, so you're always a child because children play with toys, and that was like the focus of Sugar's ability. So, I don't know, maybe like if you were an adult, would it just freeze you at like age 30? Or would it turn you into a child and keep you as a child? Because that's like the whole premise of the fruit. Either way, Sugar ate the fruit when she was biologically 10 years old, so she's stuck like that, forever. And that's, she's no battle capabilities or anything like that because of that fruit's power. So that would really suck. I mean, even if it's like, okay, I'm 28 right now. If I were to eat that fruit and I would just be stuck at 28, I was like, all right, that's, I think, honestly, like the physical peak for human beings. I actually think it's either 28 or 29 years old, I read somewhere. So it's like, all right, all downhill from here, So I guess if I was going to freeze at any year, I guess 28 would be that. And so the last category I have here, it's kind of a weird one, but it's a category that involves whenever your body encounters some sort of shock. Or any kind of like impact. Okay, so allow me to explain, all right? So we have Very Good's fruit. Okay, Very Good is the Marine captain that fought against Frankie at Enies Lobby. He has the Berry Berry no Mi, which doesn't turn his body into berries, it turns it into balls. All right, that's another reference for you. And Very Good can control whenever to separate his body whenever he wants, but imagine if like Very Good was just walking down the stairs, he trips and falls and he hits the ground, boom, your body just explodes into balls whenever that happens, right? I'm implying that's how it would work. Now, I guess you wouldn't get injured, but it would just be awkward to like encounter that. Like anytime you get tripped or anytime you fall or something hits you, your body just explodes into balls. Buggy's fruit would also work in a very similar premise to this, except it was anything sharp, which is good, but also something you just have to be careful of. And also, I put, the most dangerous one, though, is Gem. Gem of the Border, Mr. 5, the bomb fruit, all right? Because his whole body is a bomb, so he can take out his snot or whatever and, like, flick it, and it just explodes or whatever, and he can, like, control it. But I also would not, like, want to hit him really hard, because I imagine, like, that might also set it off. So imagine if you eat the bomb fruit, and then you're walking down the steps, and you trip and you fall, or whatever, and you hit the ground, and just like, boom! Giant explosion, your house just gets leveled. Like, you would be okay, you're immune from the explosions, but you'd have to be extraordinarily careful in public. You're like walking down the street and there's some brat on the side of the road just like, I'm gonna trip this guy. Hey, what? Oh! Not a good idea. Once again, I don't know if any of these devil fruits would function in this exact way. I just went down the list and I was thinking of ways of like, okay, having this fruit in an anime would be really cool. But in real life, maybe not ones you want to have so much, right? Well, anyway, thanks to everybody. Thanks to Ethan for the comments, everybody that voted it up and all that stuff. So what's today? Friday? Tomorrow, Saturday, I want to do a live stream again because I haven't done a live stream on Saturday in a couple of weeks. I want to do a stream here in my new setup. It'll be the first stream I ever do. And then Sunday's the review. And then Sunday night, I actually have something special planned, and that's going to be really fun. I've mentioned it before in the streams, but I'll talk about it when I do the review, that on Sunday night. So I guess this is technically the last episode of Horoween, but I might do another one. I might bring it into November because I kind of got a late start on this with the move and everything. So if you have any other ideas, let me know down below, and I will review the 6 movie at some point. Maybe I should just do it next week. Yeah, that would be good to just get that done, and then we can move on to movie 7 with the bounciness of Nami and Robin and the mechanical island adventure with the jiggly. Okay, so anyway, thanks for watching the video, everybody. This will be Tekking, this will be Barry, and Morge plushie, and I guess sexy Freddy Krueger as well. Signing out. Later, everyone.